Hello and welcome to this broadcast of Running on Love with God. My name's Lori Michelle, and I was awakened by the voice of our Creator, God Himself, in April of 2009. And now I'm broadcasting on social media, on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, all the social media tools, and spreading the word that He's real and He's talking to me in plain English. I do these programs every week with my co-host, Anna Marie, in Chicago. Hello. And I'm here in Israel. Tonight's program is about friendship, and I entitled it, What is a True Friend? Friendship is very important to all of us, and I looked up what God thinks of friendship and what the first friend was back in the day. And it said that in the Torah, the first friend was, or the first friends, I should say, was Adam and Chava, or Adam and Eve, believe it or not, which makes sense because they were the first couple, the first married couple. And God said to Adam that he shouldn't be alone, that no one should be alone. So he made a partner for him, and there began humanity. The first friends were husband and wife. And on it went, and now we are 7.5 billion people with lots of friends. And I wrote in my write-up for this program that a lot of people measure friendship or people, their worthiness of friendship, by the number of people that are in their lives. And if that's the measure, well, I'm in trouble because I don't have that many friends. So we'll start the discussion, Anna Marie. Ask me questions. I posed a lot in my write-up, and maybe you have some of your own.
There's a couple of different ways we could take this conversation. We could do a whole half hour on marriage and friendship. But let's start by asking your first question, the title of the program. What is a true friend?
Friendship, at the core, is love. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
It's a form of love. We don't necessarily love all our friends. Some friends are acquaintances or people that we just know. But for me personally, I view friendship as love. And the friends that I've had in my life, I deeply love them. And for me, a true friend, a real friend, doesn't turn their love on and off. Once a friend, always a friend, in my opinion. However, I posted a picture of two women holding up their hands in a heart, and I posted this on Facebook. It's cute. And I wrote on this, I said, friends are easy to find when the weather is good. True friends don't blow with the wind. And in my lifetime, I've had many friends, Anna Marie, and they come and go like the weather. And that's not a true friend. A true friend is there not only in good times, but in bad times. And there are some people, strangely, who only show up in bad times. They're a strange breed. But a true friend is there for us always.
Does a true friendship have to be reciprocal, meaning that they love you as much as you love them?
Well, you'd like to think so, but I don't know that it's always equal. I think your feelings wax and wane sometimes. Sometimes people hurt your feelings. But for me personally, my feelings or my love doesn't really change. I might be angry at you, but I still love you. I don't know if you feel the same way. But in true friendship, you can get angry or feel put off, but you still love your friend. You still feel for them.
Right. And you know you're going to continue to be friends. You know that you'll get over your disagreement.
Right. But let me use an example in my life of a lifelong friend, my best friend from when I was 7 years old. We grew up. We went on to college, and I went to a university where she decided to enroll and go to school with me. And we even roomed together in my last year of college. And after I graduated, I found out through the grapevine that she was speaking evil about me. She went to work, and we had some complications living together, as roommates sometimes do. And she took it to work, and we had common friends or common people that we knew. And she spoke lashon hara, evil speech about me, complained about me. And I was devastated. I felt betrayed. I couldn't trust her any longer. And it was after college ended, and she invited me to go to her wedding. And I got the invitation, and I called her and I said, "I'm sorry. I will always feel for you. You were my best friend growing up, but you betrayed me, and I can no longer be your friend. I can't trust you anymore. So I'm going to wish you well, but I'm not coming to your wedding, and I'm not speaking to you anymore." And I didn't do it out of anger. I know it sounds very harsh, right? But I was really hurt by it. I didn't trust her. It wasn't kind things. She said very unkind things about me. And if she had issues with me, she should have pulled me aside and said, "Friend, I have problems. Let's talk about them." So I didn't trust her anymore. And trust is at the core of a good friendship. Time went on, and maybe 5 or 6 years later, I received an 8-page tear-soaked letter from her apologizing. And I accepted her apology, and we became friends again. Up until
Oh, no.
My awakening. And I started desiring a closer connection with God. She was very secular, didn't believe in God much. And my way of life started to change. I started observing the Sabbath, becoming kosher, doing things that were different. And long and short of it, there were a lot of back and forth. We don't speak any longer. So I raised the question. It's very hurtful. I still love her because my love for my friends, all my friends, doesn't go on and off like a water faucet. To me, a true friend loves you no matter what. And I still feel love for this person, but I don't consider her my friend. And you asked, can you love someone and be a friend to someone and it's not reciprocated? Well, this is a classic case. And I asked the question in this write-up, if your friend had a change of heart, philosophy in life, political views, religious views like mine, would you still love them and consider them your friend, or would you walk away from that friendship? A lot of people had trouble staying friends with me because my ideas about life changed dramatically over these past 9 years.
And yet there are some times when you should head for the hills, as you say, when you don't have anything in common any longer and there isn't a point to the friendship.
There is a point in all friendships, relationships, where the connection becomes dysfunctional and hurtful to both parties. You no longer have anything to talk about. You don't see eye to eye. And it might be time to part ways. And that's okay. So you send each other off with Godspeed and lots of love. But you always hold them in your heart and you feel affection for them. You can still feel love and a friendship towards them, but your relationship has changed. The sad thing that I see in America right now is there's so much acrimony and people disagreeing politically, and it's dividing families and friendships all around America. It's very hate-filled, and that's not friendship at all.
Right. Should you develop new friends and drop old ones as your life changes, as things change, as your views change? Isn't that a natural thing to do?
Well, our relationships change over the years as we grow older, but it's sad. I don't know if you should. I don't believe in that you should do anything. You know, there's an expression, you can should all over yourself when you do things like that. I don't do that. I do what I need to do to preserve my joy, my peace. There are some relationships that are simply not peaceful. They're acrimonious, they're angry, and they're not worthwhile to keep in my life. Wayne Dyer, I used to read his books a lot. He had an expression that I can choose peace instead of this. And there's a lot of truth to that statement. So if a relationship has changed and you're not getting along, it's time to part ways. But I don't believe you should ever walk away from friendship. You should try everything to maintain it and stay connected.
Does a true friend have to prove they love you? Do you know what I mean by that? There are people who try to test their friends, or they keep score in a friendship. Like, well, I called you last time, so now it's your turn to call me.
I don't hate many things, but that's something I really hate. I don't like to say the word hate either. I really can't stand when people do that because it's very hurtful. A lot of relationships, family relationships, they do that. Siblings, parents, friends. And the thing is, if you have to prove yourself, then they don't know that you really love them. You can't show up enough to prove your love. Your love should be something that's felt no matter what you choose to do. The prove it game doesn't work for me.
Then is the problem that with the person who can't feel your love, or is it the problem that you're not expressing it?
It could be both. He said yes. Hashem just said yes. We need to express our love. And I am personally very expressive of my love. I say it, but I feel it when I say it. And I don't just say, love ya, love you lots. A lot of people use these expressions, hugs, and they're cute, but you don't really feel the love with those cute expressions. When I say I love you, I love you. I say the I, the love, and the you, and I don't spell it in little abbreviations or acronyms. I say it, I write it, and I mean it. Because life is short. We never know how much time we have on this planet. And you need to express it, and you need to show it, and you need to feel it. And so when people test me, like you said, going back to your previous question, it's hurtful. Because if you don't know that I love you, you're just not going to know. I express it, I feel it, I show it. So what's the measure of love? I don't know how you really measure love. I don't know that there's really a true measurement for love. But in your actions, how you act, what you do for others, do you put them before you put yourself? But a lot of people want you to prove it, to show up, to negate your own needs in deference to theirs. And that's
Right.
not love. Love shouldn't feel like a sacrifice. If you feel like someone's putting pressure on you, you have to ask yourself, do they love me? What's in it for them to pressure me?
So how can you tell if someone is a true friend? And I think that's your first answer, is that there's no pressure. They're not trying to make you do or act a certain way. Are there any other ways to tell someone is a true friend?
You don't have to ask. A true friend shows up, does for you, doesn't ask, can I come and keep you company? They just show up. You know, they know you're having a tough time and they just do it. You don't have to ask. That's, to me, the sign of true caring and true love. For you, you're that way. You're a true friend. I don't ever have to ask. You show up, you message me, you've supported me. That's true friendship.
How can you develop your skills in making good, true friends and in being a good, true friend?
Improving your skills?
Or is it not is it strictly
I don't know that being a friend is a skill.
Okay.
Hashem just said trial and error. You meet people, and it's not a crime not to feel a connection to someone. We've all had people in our lives where we don't find them terribly interesting. I hope I'm not one of them. But you don't click. There's just not that love there. You don't want to hang out with them. They don't float your boat. So trial and error, hang out with someone, and if they make you laugh, they make you cry, if they make you feel, there's an expression, you might not remember my name, but you'll remember how I made you feel. Friends make you feel something, and you share something, a non-verbal, non-physical connection with a true friend. So I don't know that you can really work on that, but you can look around and make sure that you connect to a lot of people. And when you find someone you have that special connection with, you should cherish it. You should work it. You should never let go. And never turn the faucet off. Always keep the faucet running. They may turn the faucet off. And if that's the case, keep yours running and wait for them to return.
What do you mean by that? Keep the faucet running?
The faucet, meaning love's like a faucet to me. My faucet stays open. It's on. But I may turn my direction. My faucet, is like a hose. And it may be directed at you. But if you tell me, hey, it's too much, I don't have time for you, I'll take it and direct my love and my friendship somewhere else where it's wanted. Doesn't mean the faucet turned off. It just means that it's time to change directions. Always keep your love on.
Okay. In your write-up, you talked about whether it means something that you have more friends versus another person. Do you win in a popularity contest? Is it sometimes true that people who are more loving and more giving would have more friends, and so it is a good thing? Or is the number of friends never the measure?
I don't know that it's never the measure, but it's not a true indication of how good of a friend you are. In other words, growing up, we all grow up and there's the popular kids who are swarming with attention, and they dress the right way and their hair looks the right way and they get all the boys. That's not a measure of what kind of person and human being they are. It's just a measure of they have a knack for getting the attention of other people. But the number of people, and Facebook and social media, and I said this, started this little contest among young people and now old people. I think you told me the demographic for Facebook is tilted now to old people.
Yeah, it's middle-aged women.
Old women?
Middle-aged women and moving up into grandmothers, sharing pictures of their grandchildren.
Oh, well, that's nice. But maybe 5 or 10 years ago, it became a contest, how many Facebook friends you had. And if you had less than 500 friends, you're a loser. Well, I guess I'm a loser. I have very few friends. So no, it's not a measure of what kind of friend you are, but there are a lot of people who are surrounded in a lot of love. And I've always looked at that and looked at these people and said, wow, they're getting something right. But Hashem says not necessarily. Some of these people know how to play the game. And there is a game, and there are books. And you said, how do I work on that? How do I perfect getting friends? Well, there's Dale Carnegie courses, how to win friends and influence people. I actually never read that book, but I hear it works. Politicians, Hillary Clinton probably has a ton of friends.
But then those are not true friends. Those are surface friends. Those are acquaintances.
Right.
Those aren't relationships where you love on both sides.
Well, she might. There are people who are diehard Hillary fans and love her. I don't know. I don't know. And that's sad to me. I wanted to do a program about famous people with you because I feel that the rich and famous have a very sad life. I feel very badly for them. I would never want that kind of life. Although, you know, we all want money and we want friendship. But when you're rich and famous, someone like, for example, Michael Jackson, were people in his life because they loved Michael, or did they want some of his money, some of his fortune, some of his fame? Did they want to brag to everyone that they're friends with Michael Jackson? It's very sad. And then the paparazzi and the negative media about all these famous people, it's relentless. They have no privacy. So is that real friendship when you're a big name and you're surrounded with an entourage? I don't know. I pray for those people. It's very sad to me.
You mentioned at the very beginning that the very first friendship was Adam and Eve. Does
Yes.
that mean that you should only marry a true friend?
He said, absolutely.
But so what about arranged marriages? Because that's gone on throughout history.
He's saying arranged marriages doesn't mean that you don't develop a true friendship with your spouse.
Right, but when you get married, you're not a true friend because you barely know the person.
Correct. But I guess that's where your question about how do you develop the ability to be a friend it comes in question. To be a friend or to have a friend, you need to be a friend. And there are many courses in marriage, and people take lessons on how to have an effective marriage. In fact, in the religious world, before you get married, you have to spend time learning about how to be married.
Right.
You would think that a lot of people would want to take those courses before they get married. A lot of marriages, and more than half, end in divorce. So we can do better. I married my best friend, and today I'm divorced. So there were a lot of missing things in our marriage that didn't have to do with friendship. So marriage isn't just about friendship, although at the core, you need to be friends. You need to like each other. You need to enjoy to be with each other. But we had done a program a year ago, I think. It was a year ago, maybe.
Yeah.
About making sure that the one you marry loves God. Because it's a test of if they're modest, if they're going to put God first, they're going to be humble, they're going to follow God's laws and God's laws of marriage and how to treat you. People who believe in God and God's laws in general, not always, try harder to observe his laws and to treat people according to the way God has taught us to treat each other.
Now, in your case, and I don't want to make this too personal, but you said that you married your best friend.
I did.
The friendship changed, though, or you would still be married because he wasn't acting like a true friend all the way through. Yes or no?
Well, this is an example of what I said before. If your best friend changed their religious beliefs and their desires to lead a daily life according to what you believe in, would you head for the hills? Would you get angry at them? Would you change your feelings about them based on their change of philosophy? And when we were first married, I didn't keep the Sabbath. I wasn't kosher. I wasn't doing any of this. It's a very big change in lifestyle, although I believe that I'm still the same Lori that I always was. I went through some changes, and it affected our relationship in a very negative way.
Okay, but the friendship was still there. It was just that in terms of living a life together, it was no longer possible.
I think that when you have a change in religious beliefs, it tests the mettle of your friendship. And I believe personally that when you are a true friend, you accept your friends for everything that comes with it. If they choose to believe something differently, you accept it. You don't argue against it, and you embrace it if that brings them joy. There are literally websites, dating websites, of people who like Donald Trump. They want to date other people who also like Donald Trump. I swear it's the truth. There are people who cannot tolerate someone who has different political beliefs. So you can imagine when it becomes a religious belief that starts to separate and go in different ways. It's critical for a lot of people. They're not accepting. There are people, friends, that need to be right. They need to be right, and they raise their voice and the octave louder and louder, and if they shout at you, they're going to win the argument, right? So that's not real friendship. It's controlling behavior. And so when someone in a relationship like a marriage is tested with a change of religious practice or beliefs or political beliefs, it tests their mettle. What kind of friend are they?
Okay.
To each other. And maybe they just can't tolerate it. There are people who just cannot tolerate when someone disagrees with them. Have you met people like this?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, it's serious. It's, I want to say it's a flaw. It's problematic. But what if the person who won't budge and needs to be right is right?
Yeah, and sometimes they are.
Sometimes they are. But my children get very angry at me because they'll say to me, "You never admit you're wrong." I say, "Well, because I'm not." And it gets them really mad, and I laugh. I don't get all in a tizzy and angry, but they do. People get angry.
All right, last question. Should you be friends with your children?
I'm going to let Hashem answer that. He says you can be, but you never cross the line of parent and child. You are always the parent, and it's always honor thy mother and father, and you should never cross that line of respect. But I am friends with my young adult children. I enjoy being with them. I love my children, but I like my children. I'm very blessed. It's a blessing when you love someone, but you also like them and you like hanging out with them. And I like to be with my children. So yeah, but they know not to cross the line. And what I mean by that is be disrespectful. If I ask them to do something, I want it done, and later or tomorrow doesn't cut it for me sometimes, and they need to speak to me in a respectful tone. Each one of them has been shown the door as they were growing up. Not recently, thank God, but especially when a woman goes through a divorce and is a single mom, they need to stand up for themselves or they get stepped on in life, not just by children. So I had to learn early on that I don't have a man of the house to stand up for me any longer. And so I had to put my foot down a few times, and gratefully I don't have to do that anymore. So I hope you enjoyed this program of Running on Love with God, and I hope you will be a true friend and you will appreciate your friends and keep that faucet going. Don't turn it off. Maybe change directions and move the nozzle somewhere else if you need to, but be a true friend and don't blow with the wind. Go to lauriemichelle.net. There are more programs there. There'll be more. We're going to do more. We do this every Sunday. And I am going to release my first book very soon. We're in the last rounds of revisions. And hopefully within the next 2 months, I will announce it's ready for sale. God bless you. This is the work of world peace. Please keep watching. Let's listen, learn, and work for world peace in our time. God bless you.